I want to spend a couple of minutes going over the class syllabus for this class. This online class, it's a little bit difficult because it's an online class. I don't get to meet with you guys and talk to you guys and answer any questions one-on-one. Please remember to email me if you have any questions. We'll discuss email in just a few minutes, but if you have anything going on, you have any questions about anything, email me and I'll try to get an answer to you as quickly as I can. It's a little difficult not meeting with students and having to go through email to do this kind of stuff. But I wanted to put together a video to try to clear a few things up. So just starting off with the syllabus, my name is Chris Brewer. Generally people can call me Chris, call me Brewer. I'm pretty much answer to either. I'm moving on. The best way to get in touch with me, again, because this is an online class, is going to be through email. Again, I'll discuss email in a second. But if you need to email me, this is my email address. If you want to meet with me, just shoot me an email and we can set up a meeting. I do have an office that I can use out on the Bullitt County campus, so we can meet out there, or we can make arrangements for whatever. But if you want to meet with me, shoot me an email and just say, hey, I'd like to sit down and have a chat with you, and we can talk about it. The book for this is it's included in the course fees for this class, so you shouldn't have to worry about that. I'll have a separate video explaining how the online portion of this class works. So be looking for that. It'll appear on the Blackboard page once I get all that completely set up. But there's no real physical textbook. Everything is online. If you're one of these people, I am, so I'm not criticizing. But if you're one of these people who actually would like to have a physical textbook to hold, if you go out to the campus at the Southwest Campus bookstore, they generally have a loose leaf version of the textbook. It's not the exact same thing you would buy in the bookstore. It's just pages that are wrapped together. You can take those pages and put them in a binder, and you actually have the exact same textbook, but it's a physical textbook. So if you want to mark it up, underline it, or something like that, you can go out there and purchase it. I think it's like $40 or less than that, something like that. If you really want a textbook that you can write on and stuff like that. I'm that way, so I would be that way with this class. All right. Required access to a computer with Windows OS installed, no Apple computers. All right, let me explain what this means. If you're just going to do the main part of this class, you don't need this. You can get by on a Chromebook, and you can get by on an Apple computer. But there are certain aspects that you may need to take that's going to require you to have access to a Windows PC with Office on it. The tests that are going to be required for this class, you can easily take those on a Chromebook or a MacBook and not have any problems at all. But later on we'll discuss makeup assignments, makeup projects. If you decide that these are not required, they're makeup things. So if you can do these to bring up your grade or to get rid of a zero. If you decide to do one of these, these must be done on a Windows PC with Office on it. It has to be done. And I'll discuss this later on, but these assignments are graded by the computer. They're not graded by me. So if you want to do one of those, you're going to have access to one of those. So now might be a good time to kind of ask around. If you don't have access to a Windows PC, now might be a good time to ask around for friends, family, school, or something like that. If you can get access to a Windows PC if you need it, think of it now rather than later. Office 2016 or Office 365. 3D JCTC students. I'll have a video later on about how to get access to this. Office is giving a copy of of Office 365 or Office 2016, I think is actually what it is, to students. They can download it and they actually have it. And as long as they're a student, they can use that software. And this is a pretty good deal because this isn't the student version that you would buy at Office Depot or Best Buy. This is actually a full-blown version of Office. It's got everything in it. It's got things that don't normally come in the student version. Like I don't think Outlook or No Access does not come in the student version. But this version that you can get, that you can download from JCC, does have it. So if you have a Windows PC and you want Office, or wait a minute, I left my Apple folks out there on this one. If they do have a version of Office for Apple, so even you Apple folks can download it. Now, Apple version doesn't have access. I know it doesn't have everything that the Windows version does, but that's out there too for you guys too. So again, I'll have a video later on about how to get that. It's a 3-credit-hour class. This is an online class, so a lot of these dates don't really matter to the online students, but these are the dates that the colleges has for this semester. Now, this is the fall 2020 semester, and this video is really specifically guided for my Bullitt County High School students that are taking this class. So if I'm reusing this video later on down the road, just remember that this is what this video is really applicable to, but it probably didn't change much because I generally keep pretty much everything the same. This course familiarizes students with various types of computer hardware and software, including use of an operating system. Again, we're going to be talking about Windows. Explore common program functions of key applications with special functions available in word processing. We're going to use Microsoft Word, electronic spreadsheet, Excel, database, which is going to be Access, and presentation software, which is going to be PowerPoint. Teaches online skills and concepts including networking, electronic mail, web browsing, and internet research. The basic skills that you need for this class are just keyboarding and mouse skills. And this doesn't mean you have to be able to type 60 words a minute. I don't type 60 words a minute by a long shot. So just know how to navigate your way around a keyboard, know how to navigate your way around a mouse. If you have any issues with these, again, shoot me an email. Maybe we can meet and I can give you a really quick tutorial on that kind of stuff. So that's not a big deal. This course supports Jefferson Community College missions to offer degree programs and courses designed to prepare individuals to excel in today's technological workforce. This is just a regular 10-point grading scale. So 90 to 100 is an A, 80 to 89 is a B, 70 to 79 is a C, all the way down the line. The basis of this grade, this is an online class, so 100% of the grade, your grade is going to come from the online test, and I'll discuss the online test in just a second. Scrolling down to page 2, these are the general learning outcomes that you should be able to master by the time you get out of this class. It's nothing crazy, but feel free to read these, and this is kind of what we're going to shoot for. All right, moving on to page 3. Grade components. So the first thing we'll talk about are the grade components of the online test. Sorry, this should be 13. 13 online tests, not 16, 13. I had a problem, and it was going to be 16, but now it's actually just 13. Let me save that so it's not going to be an issue. Since this course has 13 online tests, there are 2 preliminary chapter tests. These preliminary chapter just cover basic computer things. What software is, what hardware is, what a hard drive is, what a keyboard is, mouse, printers, those kinds of things. Some network questions, some internet questions. Different types of software you'd use for different types of tasks that you need to complete. Those are there's 5 preliminary chapters, and what I've done is I've combined these 5 into 2 tests. I have one test that covers chapters 1 through 3, and one test that covers chapters 4 and 5. And let me bring this up. This is the calendar for this class. So this kind of tells you, so like here is like chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3. Chapter 4 is, you're going to read it on your own. I don't have a video, lecture video, and again I'll talk about the lecture videos in another video. But like the preliminary chapters 1 through 3 is due Sunday night at 8:59 p.m. On October 4th. And again, this is for my fall 2020 class. So if you're watching this at a different time, this may not be applicable to you. But there are 13 online tests, 2 from the preliminary chapters, 3 covering Word, 3 covering Excel, 2 covering Access, and 3 covering PowerPoint. Now, each of these tests count 6.25 points. Let me make sure of this, because I may have. Let me pause this video for a second. Okay, I'm back. I had to check my math, and my math was wrong. I had some problems, and originally I thought instead of 13 tests, there was going to be 16, so that changed my math. But each of these tests counts as 7.69s on your final grade. So that means if you miss one test, if you get a 0 on one test, the highest grade you're going to receive in this class is a 92. If you get 2 zeros, you will not be able to get an A in this class, no matter what. So most people who fail this class don't fail it because they get bad grades. They fail this class because they get zeros on tests. So please, please, please take all the tests. And again, I'm going to discuss tests, a little bit about tests in the videos, but one thing I can tell you about tests is the way they're going to work. The tests are, especially when we start getting into Word, Excel, Access, and PowerPoint, the tests are kind of task-driven. So it may tell you to take a word in a sentence and make it bold, or take a word in a sentence and underline it, or enter new text, or something like that. And each of these questions, each of these task-given questions, you're going to be given 3 options or 3 opportunities to answer that question, or to perform that task, let's say. So let's suppose it tells you to take a word and make it bold, but you take that word and you italicize it. It's going to say incorrect. Do you want to try again? You try again. This time you underline it, and it's going to say incorrect. Do you want to try again? This time you take that word and you make it bold, and it's going to say correct and moves on. If you get it incorrect, it's going to give you the opportunity to move on, and but it will come back to that question. You're going to get all 3 shots at every question until you get it right, or until you run out of your 3 shots at every question. So every question you get 3 shots to get it right. Every task, let me put it that way, every task. Because there's some questions on the first 2 tests that are just like multiple choice or true false kinds of questions, so you don't get 3 opportunities at those. But you also get 3 opportunities on every test as a whole. So you do your Word Module 1 test, and you don't like the grade that you get. You get a 78, and you want at least a B. So you can take that test again and improve your grade. Now, the tests are open book, open note, so you've got that going for you. They're not timed, so you can take all the time that you need. It's just there is a deadline for these things, and again, the deadline for these tests pop up in the schedule. Now, the deadline for this test, except for the very last one, the PowerPoint, just because the class is ending, all the tests are going to be due on Sunday nights at midnight. So I always suggest to students that they put a reminder on their phone on a Friday to check and see if they have any tests due. That way, if they do have any tests due, it gives them all weekend long to get those tests done. Don't wait until the very last moment to try to take the 3 word tests, because you may not be able to get all 3 of them done, and you probably aren't going to be able to get all 3 of them done, taking 3 shots at every question, and then 3 shots at the test as a whole. If I look at the grade, if you're not satisfied with your grade book, with your grade, first thing I'm going to do is look at the grade book and see what your grades look like, and then I'm going to look at the test and see how many times you took a test. So if you took a test, the Word Module 1 test, and you fail it and you don't take it a second time, I think I can assume that you're okay with that failing grade. So because you do have the opportunity to take it again and again and bring it up. So just make sure that you have time to take the test. Again, these tests are online. There are training materials that you can take to help you before you take the test. And one more thing, when you take the test, when you get done with it, you're going to get a report that shows you your grade. If you go back to try to take the test a second time, it's going to give you the opportunity to view a report that's going to show you which questions you got right and which questions you got wrong. And it's also going to provide you a link to the textbook where hopefully you'll be able to find the correct answer. So really, when you think about it, everyone should be able to get an A in this class because you've got three tries at every question, 3 tries at every test as a whole. You get a report that shows you which questions you got right and shows you which questions you got wrong, and links in this report that will take you in the text to where you should be able to find the correct answer. So really, give yourself the time and you should be able to do well in this class. Okay, moving on. Attendance. Again, this is an online class, so I'm not going to take attendance. Makeup assignments. If you miss a test, or if you don't like the grade that you got on the test, either one. If you want to make up a test, I'm not going to reschedule tests that have already been assigned. What I have are these makeup projects, and there's one project for every section of the class. So there's one project for Word, one project for Excel, one project for Access and PowerPoint. And you can do these projects, and whatever grade you get on the project will replace the lowest grade of the tests that are in that section. So let's suppose that you take 2 Word tests and you get a 0 on the 3rd Word test. You can do this project, and let's suppose you get a 79 on the project. If you get a 79 on the project, I will replace that 0 with a 79. Now, there's only 1 per section, so let's suppose you miss all 3 Word tests. You can do that project, and I will replace one of those zeros with a 79. You're still going to get the 0 on the other 2, but there is the opportunity to make up one of those tests. So there's one of those makeup projects for every section: Word, Excel, Access, and PowerPoint. Now, I'll tell you ahead of time, these projects are very difficult. They're very detailed oriented. It will tell you to type a sentence. If you type that sentence and you put 2 spaces in between a word instead of 1, it's going to tell you you've got that task wrong, and it won't give you the points for it. It's graded by the computer. It's not graded by me. So whatever the computer says that you get is what you got. Again, you have 3 opportunities to do these projects. Now, these really take a long time. The Access one takes a significantly long time. So make sure that you give yourself plenty of time if you're going to do one of these projects. Let's see. Oh, one thing I want to talk about is these projects show up in the grade book, but they're not included in the calculation of the grade. So if you don't do them and you see a 0, don't worry, because that 0 is not included in the calculation of the grades. So don't panic because you see a 0 in these makeup projects. If you didn't want to do it, it doesn't matter anyway. If you did do it, I'm going to take the grade that you got for that project and replace something that is in the calculation of the grade. So it's like for that, example for the Word test, I'll take that 79 and replace that 0. So that way it will be included in the calculation. But don't worry if you see zeros for these projects. If you didn't do it, you should see a 0. If you did do it and you see a 0, then you may want to get in touch with me and see what we can figure out. Class cancellation, again, this is an online class, so that shouldn't be applicable. Email, talk about email. The email is going to be the primary way that you get in touch with me, especially this being an online class. I do ask this because JCC sends me a lot of email, a crazy amount of email. And it's easy for me to lose a student's email in all of this other email that I get. So what I ask for students to do is, like, if you're going to send me an email, it's very important. Due to the number of emails I receive daily, I must require students be emails from students be formatted properly. In the subject line, note your class name, days, and time. So if you're in my Bullitt County online class, just say Bullitt County Online Fall 2020. And that, what I'm going to do is, like, I'm going to scan through all my emails, and this is what I'm going to be looking for. And that's why I can, like, really, this lets me zero in on students' emails, and I can ignore all the other stuff that I get. So please, 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 if you send me an email, please, in the subject line, include this class information for this. All right, moving on to gradebook. We're going to be dealing with three portals for this class. There's Blackboard, there's MindTap, and then there's SAM. And again, I'm going to have a video dealing with the online portion of this that'll be posted. MindTap has its own gradebook. Don't use it. Don't panic about it. Don't look at it. You're going to be using the gradebook for Microsoft for Blackboard. There'll be. I think I can go to it from here. Grades, and you should see, like, your grades for here, but we don't have anything going on yet. So, but you should be able to see grades. And I will have some listing for the grades on this page too. I don't guess I have it up here yet, but I'll have a link to the grade book for this class on Blackboard, so you'll see that too. This grade book, the grade book on Blackboard, is going to be the official grade book, not the grade book that's in MindTap, because it includes other things that I don't include in grading, like training and projects and stuff like that. So I'll make sure that you're looking at the grade book on Blackboard, not the grade book anywhere else. Classroom etiquette. This is an online class, so again, we're not going to be fighting each other in the class. You're not going to be disruptive in my class. But please, in your correspondence with myself and other students, please be respectful. Please be kind. Please, take everybody else's into consideration for the purposes of this class. All right, moving on. If you have any sort of issues with the class, this is what we call the grievance procedure. The first person you need to talk to is me. So if you have some sort of issue, shoot me an email. We can sit down and have a chat, see if we can work things out. If you and I can't work it out, you move on to step 2. This is be the person that you contact. If you contact Robert, first thing Robert's going to ask is, did you do step 1? Did you talk to Chris Brewer? And if you tell Robert no, Robert's going to tell you to shoot me an email, and then we'll talk. If you and Robert can't work it out, move on to step 3. First thing Bruce is going to ask is, did you talk to Robert? No. Did you talk to Brewer? No. Go back to step 1 and move your way on up. And it's going to follow this way all the way down until you get to Diane Calhoun French, who'll make the final decision. I've never had one pretty much go beyond 1 or 2. I mean, generally it always works out before. And most of the times, if it ever goes beyond, it's just because they contacted somebody else instead of me, and then it gets kicked back to me, and I'll take care of it. All right, if you have any students, if you're a student needing special accommodation with maybe deafness or hard of hearing, or you need some sort of special accommodation, mostly it comes in the form of extra time for tests. My tests are not timed, so that's not an issue. But if you have some sort of special accommodations, these are the people that you will need to contact. And this is just our equal opportunity employment statement. The colleges of Kentucky Community Technical College System are committed to the policy of providing educational opportunities to all qualified students, regardless of economic or social status, belief, sexual orientation, age, national origin, or physical or mental disability. It says down here, but it may be necessary to change these dates due to the progression level of the class, meaning we may complete some chapters faster or slower than expected. If something happens, and the way things are going in 2020, something could happen. If something happens, I'm going to notify you guys as soon as I possibly can. So don't think things are gonna change and you won't know. I will try to do everything I can to notify you as soon as I possibly can of some sort of changes. I mean, last semester in the spring semester, spring break came and we never came back. I had an in-person class. I said, see you guys after spring. We're gonna take the Excel test, and I never saw them again, just because the pandemic hit and classes, everything moved online, and it was fun. So. We're all going through this at the same time, so hopefully we'll get through this. I always include this in just because it's come up in older classes, it's not really much of a problem anymore just because of the way my classes work. But I always include this talking about cheating and plagiarism. I just want to tell you, don't do it. If you do it, it's not good. You can get in some trouble. You can get expelled. You can get suspended. You can get zeros on projects. You can fail classes. There's some bad things that can happen. It's just never good. So I always include this stuff in my syllabus just to kind of give you a warning about what's going on. But that is the class syllabus, and again, you will also have access to the class schedule. So. Look at these, make sure everything looks good. If you have any questions, shoot me an email, and we'll see if we can't figure all of these things out. I'll be talking to you.